Right now I'm going to show you how to use a dark sky map, how to assess out a new area and a piece of land that you want to go see. So basically what I got here is you can see Richmond, Virginia. This is where I grew up, right? So over there, you zoom into the city, and what you're going to see is the actual city part is pretty much bright white, goes into purple, red, yellow, then green, then blue, then it gets darker from there. So let's say you grew up in the suburbs, right? So if you're in the outer part of the suburbs like I was, it's going to be in this red area right along here, okay? So you know the similar amount of light is going to be in that part. Once you get out to the yellow part, you're like, all right, hey, this is where there's still some new developments. People that live in these areas travel into town to work, so that's kind of like the population density. Density is generally correlated with how much light pollution there is. So past here, past this one yellow part, you're getting pretty country. Darker yellow into green, it's still going to be, hey, you're going to have grocery stores nearby, you're going to have conveniences such like that, but it's going to be way more tucked away and you're going to have that secluded feeling. Once you get into the blue, it's like, hey, yeah, we're definitely, like, this is tucked away, great place for a homestead right in here, right? So once you zoom out, you can see in this part of West Virginia, in the quiet zone, there's barely anything. There's a bunch of national forests, and it's really dark. That's really what you want. If you go all the way out west, you're going to see a lot more of that. That's why so many people that are doing van life and traveling and off-grid are doing it out here, because there's way less people. So this is going to be able to show you the difference between, West Coast and then east. Wherever the light is, there are the people. So from there, let's say you're looking around, oh, there's a piece of land in, Southwest Virginia. It's in Floyd, Wytheville, Radford, right here. So you can see Floyd is mostly blue and green. So everything in the blue and green area is going to be similar to the blue and green here in Virginia. So you already know that it's rural enough to pretty much do what you want. But let's say you're like, oh, I want to live right outside of Cave Spring, Roanoke. You go into Cave Spring, Roanoke, oh my gosh, that's going to be similar to living in the city or the suburbs of Richmond. But let's say you find a piece of land over in Bent Mountain over here. All right, hey, we know that Bent Mountain generally is going to be pretty tucked away and secluded. You're going to have some neighbors and all that good stuff, but it's going to have more space to do what you want. So now let's say you go into North Carolina. You're trying to find out, you're basically using the places that you know what they already look like, and then you take it to a new location and compare and contrast. So let's say you move from Richmond to Knoxville, right? You would know that Knoxville has a ton more people. The red is way bigger than Richmond. So when you go over there, the population density is going to be way bigger until you get out to this yellow area. And the yellow is really where it's going to start getting cool. Even though on the map, the city part where the highways are only looks like it's really where the purple is. So you'll take it out to Pigeon Forge area, still pretty populated over there, Gatlinburg. But once you get into the big mountains, it goes straight to green. So that's going to be nice and tucked away. Blue is really what you want. When you're looking for like a homestead and you really want some privacy, I'd say green to blue. Blue is even better. That's going to be a really cozy part of town. A lot of people think that once you get into North Carolina, it's pretty much all country. But a funny thing about that is, like when you go into, let's see, Hayesville, it's yellow. So still tucked away, but for this part of the state, you would think that it's like there's like really like no towns over there. But what a lot of this is people coming from like Atlanta and surrounding areas. Like this is like a golf course community. There's stuff that used to be a lot of pretty open big farms, and it still is very pretty. There's just a lot of development going on, so you lose some of those views for like vacation houses and neighborhoods with HOAs instead of national forest land, which the national forest is still there, but you get the point there. So you go to Atlanta, you probably want to stay away from Atlanta completely. Going to Columbus, Florida pretty much is just all red. There's not a whole lot of blue except for like the swamp areas in the middle. But long story short, that's how you're going to go take an area pretty much where you grew up, zoom into it, and then think about the areas of that where you like. Where like, hey, where does it get secluded? Hey, right around, Rockville, Oilville, yeah. It's a little bit more tucked away, but I want to be further out. Then you get into, Columbia, Fife, New Canton. That's God's country out there. I mean, it's flat and stuff, but like you definitely, when you're out there, you're like, hey, it's peaceful. No one's going to bother me. I don't hear any traffic. There's like, 4 cars going down the road a day type of thing. And then you just take that color, zoom out, and then go to wherever that new area is that you want to check out. So if you're in South Georgia, you know that this whole area, blue, that's going to be very, very tucked away. And then there's some towns scattered in between all there.